Hi, Manchester City. It's Aussie Villain. Look, I'd love to have Rodrigo back on loan. That's actually not why I'm calling, though. Well, here's the thing, guys. I've got myself in a little bit of trouble with FFP, and I was wondering if you could tell me how it was you guys got away with it for so long. The system was rigged. Good, good. Actually, I'm just going to record this if that's okay. You were innocent. Yes, it's good stuff, guys. Deny, deny, deny. You're going to call your lawyers about these false accusations. Oh, this is great, guys. Get the courts involved. Smart. Never get solved, will it? Hello? Singen samman till segerstroppen Moutan Grindavik Och jag vet Mitt vattnen ger idag. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on The Impossible Dream. It is Season 13, Episode 2. Today the Gags are in action in the Cup. And hopefully we'll get the Academy boys into the, well, first of all, the second round, then into the third round after that. But we have financial fair play troubles continuing. And one thing that I wasn't really aware of is, if we have a look up here, we can't make a loss of 4.3 million over a 36-month period. I didn't realize it was over. I thought it was just sort of every year. So we are currently we're currently losing 13.68, 13.7 million. We're projected to lose just under 18 at the end of that 36-month period, whenever it ticks over. Now we know we've got player sales that are coming in, which will hopefully fix things up. But what I'm concerned about here is if we go back 36 months ago or so, we had almost 70 million in the bank. Now we don't have that now. We have considerably less than that. So at some point in this, if the 36-month period continues to tick over, we're going to go from 70 million down to 21 million very quickly when we had a bit of a spending spree a couple of summers ago. So yeah, well, we're transfer windows. Well, it isn't actually summers, is it? So I'm slightly concerned that at some point this is all going to catch up with us and there's not going to be much we can do. So any ideas how we can get around FFP? All ears, to be honest. But ideally, I mean, if we were to miss out on European football for a year, it would be a case of sell Degan, sell Volpez. That'll knock 200 grand off the wages and their transfer fees, and we should be absolutely fine. We're not going to implode the whole club here. What we might be going to do is fail FFP, but we'll wait and see. The other concern I have is that these transfers are going through July 1st. So again, just to show you here, we've got the Astadi, we've got Stanijevic and Conde. They're all going through July 1st. I'm slightly concerned that the European season, like when it ticks over, is going to be a little bit before that, because qualifying usually starts early July, doesn't it? So I'm a little bit worried that what's going to happen here is that even though this money's coming in, we know how UEFA works, don't we? What I'm worried about is that we're going to technically not have that money at the club, even though everything's agreed, and so that's going to fail us. But we have enough there to get ourselves back, above where we need to be. The issue is, like I said, it's going to be the timing of it, and that is obviously concerning. So that is our worries. Now, we have had one game since last episode in the league against Valla. It was their brand new stadium, their first home game in it as well. So let's see how we did. Beltonson opened the scoring, and Bjornsson's long-range effort made it 2-0. Before Kosh picked out Seema for our third. So Beltonson with the first goal at that new stadium. The crowd was just under 7,000, I think it was. So that's a fairly good crowd for a team that is struggling in the league as well. And the game, to be fair to them, was not as comfortable as it looks. Even looking at XG and the match stats, especially the highlights, was quite even, to be honest. So one experiment we had here, and there was a comment that suggested this an episode or two ago. Try playing, we've got so many strikers, using them as inside forward. So I tried Seema as an inside forward out on the left. He can play with either foot, so I thought, well, he could either go down or cut in. He'd be a little bit of a threat, and he looked okay. I started him as a winger, I think, actually, and then moved into an inside forward, and obviously he got his goal 93rd minute. That was when he was playing as an inside forward. But yeah, very, very good indeed. We can check the league. Nothing's obviously really changed here. We are 9 from 9. Starnen are up there as well with their 3 wins from 3 games, and then it drops off there till we have Thor and Grotta, who are the teams we played last episode, of course, sitting down there at the bottom, pointless. So that actually, we've played the 3 bottom teams so far. Are they down there because we've played them, or Well, it doesn't really matter because we'd beat most teams anyway, wouldn't we? Anyway, it's gag time. Let's have a look and see what we're doing here with the gags. And we are facing Afturelding. And again, I know that's not how you say it. That's just how I've started pronouncing. I make up basically my own names if you haven't picked up on that. And so that's the name that I've given them. This is the team we're sending out. Rafferson in goal. It is Hensi Mortensen filling in at left back. Gisarasen filling in at centre back with Unnesen and Snyder. It is Arnesen, Turpinson, and Allmarkson in midfield. Medina, Jofferson, and Boutenson up front. No real unknowns on the bench. Actually, this other Arnesen is a young winger that's coming through, so we'll try and give him a little bit of time if we can. It's a shame that he and Medina, roughly the same age, and they play the same position. So, because they're both fairly good wingers, I would have thought. But anyway, let's get out there and see what we can do. Alright, so we can see the team sheets there. Catano. Now, I'm pretty sure he was playing for them when we used to play them in the league. And that's years ago at this point. Now, if you are new to the channel, and there has been quite a few subscribers recently, obviously welcome. But if you're wondering what the hell the gags are, it's Grindavik Academy graduates. And we've also thrown in some of the young players that we signed a couple of seasons ago now to try and send some money into the league. So that's what the gags are. Now, they've come out a little bit differently to what we were expecting, so we might need to just change a little bit of a setup there to make sure that everybody is marking up correctly. But yeah, I mean, this is a fairly strong side. This is always our most dangerous game in many ways because match sharpness isn't always at the greatest. So you notice I gave Allmarkson a little bit of time against. Sorry, I'm just in the middle of a rum and coke, and I've just had a little bit come back there. Yeah, just had a little bit of game time in the game against Vela, just trying to get him a little bit sharper. Yeah, we seem to. I'm trying to remember who was playing centre back last year because I've never had to play Gisarasen there as Boutensen's in. Boutensen scores. It was a Jofferson pass through, and there we go. We've taken a 1-0 lead, and Boutensen is the man to give it to us. What we will do is, if this is going well at half time, a couple of the better gags. So, for example, Boutensen is probably the main one. We'll give them a rest. We'll take them off and give some of the younger players on the bench some game time as well. Turpinson with a corner in. It is Medina with his second of the season. We don't get to see him score many. And, well, there we go. He's got one there. He was, of course, at one point last season, the media description of him was a promising winger. That seems to have faded off to one side, which is a bit of a shame. But he's still doing okay. And we've got another corner now. Can we do the same trick twice? We go back post this time. Oh, it's a penalty, is it? Bundled over, and surely a penalty. We've got another corner. Turpinson getting a lot of practice from those. And we've just slightly overcommitted there, perhaps. We do have two men back, though. And we should have more than enough to keep this Mortensen. Where are you? Oh, he's playing left back, isn't he? So that's okay. Oh, Allmarkson, what is that touch, man? Ball forward. Mortensen a little bit out of position. He tries to get back, does enough, and Rafferson even is there to make an easy save. Now, is that the highlight? Possibly not. Gisarasen, he can play centre-back, not necessarily at a level. There's a good ball for Boutensen, who scores again. Is he onside? It's Jofferson to Boutensen again, and it is 3-0. And I think we can just about say we'll be able to rest these guys at half-time. Yeah, Gisarasen can play centre-back. You wouldn't want him playing there in Europe. It's a good first touch from Boutensen, isn't it? It's a good finish as well. Really, really, really nicely done. He's just a goal scorer, isn't he? It's such a shame that last year, when we were on a good run in Europe, and he just wasn't a part of it, was he? For whatever reason, he just didn't turn up for us last season. Thankfully, we had some guys who did. They're trying the same trick 3 times. Mortensen is a long way up. He's picked it out. Ball in. Oh, what a header from Medina. It was absolutely just sitting up there. Really good ball in from Mortensen. Not much the goalkeeper or defender could do about it. It just sat up. It seemed to float in, didn't it? And Medina, coming in from the right wing, has done absolutely brilliantly. Good run, and he's attacked it superbly. That is a real... I mean, it's not a goal of the season sort of goal, but in terms of just executing, that is a really, really good goal. So, yeah, we'll be able to... now, the problem we have is we've got the 2 guys that ideally I'd like to take off to give young players a game time. They're both on hat-tricks, which is not ideal. I mean, we'll be resting Bautinson as much as anything so that he's fresh for other games. We do see, for whatever reason, the Icelandic season seems to be very much front-loaded in just the league fixtures. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I'd say it's for Europe, but we're the only ones that really go anywhere in Europe anyway. Jofferson crossing. Medina has had his hat-trick. It's not quite. And I'm fairly confident in saying Medina has never scored a hat-trick. I don't even know if he's ever got 2 in a game before. And there's the ball in. It's hit the post. And that might have been Medina again as well. He is absolutely running riot. Turpitson over a free kick. It's not his greatest work, but not much of an angle to work with either, as Arneson comes free with it. It's back there for Mortensen. Gisarasen to Mortensen. Arneson forward there for Allmarkson. Turpitson, good ball for Medina. Oh, it's a good save. And we'll have a corner. We are in stoppage time in the first half here. Turpitson to take his 17th corner of the half. Ball in. It's a decent one in, to be fair. Just wasn't quite anybody where we needed him to be. Snyder gets it forward and it is picked off. But that will do it for the half. 4-0. We will take Bautinson off. We'll give Medina a little bit more time to try and get his hat-trick. But I think we can just about say that... well, if we lose it from here... It's not going to be Bautinson's, because Bautinson's not up front, is it? We don't need to score any more goals right now. We just need to defend properly. We'll bring this guy on. He is what, look, I think we signed him from IA. We're trying to get his transfer value up a little bit to sell him on. So these are obviously good opportunities to do that. Arneson, he can play in the league, so let's get Fredriksson on for some game time. And we'll leave it at that. Yeah, for now. And did I already do these team talks? Did I do defenders? I must have. And Bautinson, there we go. And yeah, well, let's see if we can go on with it in the second half. How often do you see it? The game's won in the first half, and you don't really come out in the second half. Hopefully, bringing on some youngsters will help with that. We'll take Medina off now. He's had his chance, and he's not really done anything there. Let's try and demand more. But yeah. We may have taken off the heart and soul of this team, perhaps. I mean, you can't really berate them or anything, can you? We are 4-0 up. The job is essentially done. But it would be nice to go on with it. Jofferson to Allmarkson. Allmarkson, good ball there for Ulrilason. Kenny, he goes round the goalkeeper. I tell you what, that's a really, really good goal. Again, another one of these guys. We haven't seen him get many. I think he has scored before... in, if not this cup, then that stupid pre-season thing. I say stupid, it's a big part of how we prepare for a season. It's just annoying because it's not friendlies. I've got to manage them. I can't just send the assistant like I do in a friendly. So it's just a bit tedious from that side of things. But it is actually a useful tournament to have, I think. So there we go, 5-0, and we've got a chance for another one here. Fredriksson whips it in. It is Arneson at the back post. But the goalkeeper is equal to that one. So other than Snyder, who started the game, everybody else that started has played quite well. Arneson playing on the right wing. Now, he's really short on match sharpness, so it's a lot to ask of him to come out and do really well here. As that is... Oh, it's a goal kick. I thought maybe it was a Fredriksson was trying to be a little bit clever there and almost put in his own goal. But... comfortable for the Gags. Really, really good to see. Away from home, 5-0. Job done. And we will move on to the next one. So 5-star Grindavik triumph. It is winning the third round. Arneson makes his professional debut. So well done to him. Jofferson, 2 assists. Both to Bautinson, of course. They combined really well there at the start, didn't they? So guys, wait right there. We'll be back for the next round. It is a few league games away yet. Oh, geez. It's a lot of league games away yet. So I'm going to go and be about an hour here, it looks like. I will come back for the next round. I better slow down these rum and cokes. So who knows what condition I'm going to be in for the second game here. Alright, welcome back. As you can see, it is Fram away from home. Relegated Fram from last season. So it's not going to be completely an easy game. But again, you'd expect us to win. Now, we have ticked over in the game into the new European season. So there's a little bit to catch you up on. Now, if we start on the leagues, the league reputation has improved a little bit. If we go down here, the Pepsi League is currently 24th, up from 27th. We are still behind Cyprus and Azerbaijan and Slovakia, so it gives you a little bit of a reality check there, but not that far behind the championship in England. The Swiss Top Flight is there sort of with us as well. So it's all moving in the right direction, which is obviously a positive. Now, as a club, we have moved up as well. We got 19 points last season, coefficient points, so that moves us up to 34th. So that is, we're ahead of Leeds, Olympiacos, Monaco, Besiktas, Feyenoord, Celtic. You know, there's some big teams, PSV I see there as well. So, and we're not that far behind the likes of Chelsea, Benfica, Valencia. So it's looking good on that front. This season, we are only defending 8 points. We got 19 points last season. So you can see when we get out of the group, you know, we do get quite a handful of points. So we want to try and make sure we get as many this season in case next season doesn't quite go to plan for us. But 34th, we are now ranked in Europe. Now, if you're wondering about how the Champions League played out, an absolute thriller. 5-4 at extra time. Liverpool won it ahead of Real Madrid. Now, as for Marseille, who of course beat us, they got in the round of 16. They got drawn against Manchester City. Only just went out narrowly. Now, we drew Manchester City when we played them in the league phase last season or the season before this. So, yeah, not too bad from Marseille there, but you just keep feeling like it should have been us, don't you? But one big thing that's happened is Kruzliak was the Champions League Young Player of the Year. It won't surprise you to know that it is the first time a Grindavik player has won that award. No, I mean, it's the first time. Look at some of the clubs that have won this. It's the first time that anybody outside of Germany, Spain, or England has won it. So yeah, that is absolutely huge. Well done to Kruzliak. And if you go and have a look at forward of the season, he was third in that across everybody in the Champions League. I think you pronounce it, Endrick, and then Kruzliak. So he really did have a stunning season in Europe last year, which is great to see. And as things stand, we haven't, I'm assuming we're going to be in Europe next year, so that we haven't been told otherwise. So now before we get to this game, we do have to catch you up on some of the games that have happened in the league. We've played 4 of them. The first of those was against KR. Lars Deggen gave us the lead. And that was it. There wasn't too much to write about this one. We just couldn't score, to be honest. You can see we had loads and loads of chances. Kruzliak, Beyonce playing out there. It just didn't quite happen for us. But we got the win. Daphne with a nice knockdown for Deggen. Next up, it was the old enemy. It was Grindavik. Volpez crossed for Sima to give us the lead. Sima made it 2-0 at half-time. But Grindavik pulled one back. Before Beyonce played in Bakali to restore our 2-goal lead. So it was fairly comfortable. We always had an element of control even when it was back to 2-1. Beyonce played as a Mazzella in this one. They played a 4-4-2, so we went and played this formation. Beyonce as a Mazzella didn't look too bad, I have to say. And for the first time in Icelandic domestic football history, this crowd was over 10,000 people. So well done to us on that one. Now, we entered a international window, so we were missing a load of players, and we were going to IA. We went ahead when Turpinson picked out Kruzliak. But IA were quickly level. So we just couldn't score in this one. We couldn't score, and then when we did, they got back level almost immediately. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing. We tried Sima again out there on the left. It didn't quite work on this occasion. I think I actually ended up going back to the 4-4-2 formation, or our 4-diamond-2 thing. Anyway, you can see from the XG tracker, it was a relatively even game compared to what we usually get. But yeah, we just couldn't score, and it looked a little bit of a disjointed performance, even though the team itself out there wasn't too bad. So still in an international window, some players back, some more players leaving. We faced Staden. Milosevic crossed for Skojan to give us the lead. And some nice build-up play left for Kali unmarked to get our second. Skojan knew nothing about our third. Before Gisarasen got a trademark for. So Gisarasen, he seems to feature every year in the goal of the season top 4, and I think he may have done it again there. Wonderful, wonderful strike. And Skojan, the lesser spotted 17-year-old Norwegian, with the double, did really, really well in this one. Maybe he did know a little bit about his second goal, but certainly it was mostly down to Milosevic, wasn't it? We tried Kosh on the left-hand side in this one as an inverted wing-up, did fine. We just do need to find a bit of a solution to this situation out here, I think. And well, for once, XG spot on. Suggested 4 on the nose, we got 4, and a very nicely done thing as well. So the league table Despite dropping points, yet again, we will not win all 22 of our games this year. But we are 4 points clear of Grindavik, and yeah, I mean, it should be fairly comfortable. And we will, I'm sure, in the end of the season, come away as the champions. But let's go and see what we're doing against Fram here. And I can tell you we're expecting a 4-4-2 out of them, even though I've just double-clicked through it and messed that up. But anyway, let's have a look at the team we're sending out. Rafferson in goal, Mortensen, Gisarasen, Unnesen, and Snyder. It's Arnesen, Turpinson, and Olmarksen, Medina, Jofferson, and Boutenson. You can see some heavy match loads. Gisarasen, Mortensen, they had just played that game against... who was it? Starnen. So it's not completely ideal, this game taking place in the international window, but... we've put together a side. No centre-backs on the bench. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we can see the team sheets there. Freya Jensen, I'm pretty sure we had signed him as part of the finance the league thing. So yeah, that's someone that's probably going to come back and haunt us here. I am a little bit nervous about this. It's more down to the fact that in an international break, there's players with heavy match loads, players that aren't quite 100% fit. But it shouldn't matter, should it? It really shouldn't. And Fram look like they've got a bigger stadium here as well. The stadiums, I haven't really paid that much of attention to it, but the stadiums definitely look like they're getting bigger across the league, don't they? Or am I just sort of dreaming that up because that's what I want to see? But that definitely looks like a fairly new and a much bigger stadium than we see at some places. So... that's good. The league is definitely moving forward. It's just a shame that no one's becoming professional, because that's how I think, that's then when you get the better players and you'll get better performances out of players. So as we could be in a little bit of trouble here, but Rafferson is there. And there we go. Now the transfer window has opened again. Continental Europe, it never seems to close, does it? It seems like every episode it's opened. But I did accept a bid for Daphne. We basically got, because we paid 11 million for him, which in hindsight now is we overpaid. We overpaid for a few players in hindsight. Here we go with Boutenson coming forward. It is off the line. So we basically would get the 11 million back plus the 50% sell on, and he rejected them. So which is fine, because he's not doing badly for us. But it would have been, here we go, we've nicked it there. Medina's been played in. Medina has, it looked like it was going in for a second then, but blocked, and the goalkeeper picks it up. Turpinson from a free kick. Oh, it's a really good save, and Boutenson can't turn the rebound in. This goalkeeper is doing quite well so far. But we've had some very, very good chances. You would hope, as things stand, it's just a matter of time, but yeah, obviously we do need to go and put the ball in there at some point. Michael Meyer might be a new name on the bench. He was one of our Finance the League signings, and he is training on okay. So we'll try and get him involved if the opportunity arises. Mortensen's looking quite tight at left back. We really are struggling for left backs with the Gags. All right, let's just go with we've been unlucky so far. There's a big part of me that thinks it should have just been it's not been good enough. But we haven't done badly. We've had chances. But like I say, I am just ever so slightly a little worried about this game. But that's not going to be an excuse, is that when a professional team is playing a second-tier semi-pro side, it shouldn't matter. Here we go. Gisarasen does well. Gisarasen's looked okay as a centre-back, hasn't he? Again, not necessarily for Europe, but certainly in a league. Game. Is Jofferson on side? He might have just been played on by the right back or their left back or whoever's over there, but it's been ruled out. If we do get a replay, this guy here must have been very close. No, not even close. No, it was definitely just a mile offside, wasn't it? So it's something at least. We've shown something there. There's an argument to say we go to our again versus 4-4-2 as Jensen, who no doubt wants to score against his former team, sends one over the top. We don't really. We have. The guy that scored last game, that Urilson or whatever his name is. Here we go. Boutenson, Olmarksen through the middle. Oh, Boutenson, you hog. Had to play in Olmarksen then, didn't he? Surely. All right. You know what we're going to do is we are going to just change the shape ever so slightly. Olmarksen can go forward. Arnesen can come forward as well. And we'll try and put a little bit more pressure on their back line that way. And we will unpause. I could have hit spacebar then, would have saved myself some time. Corner to defend. It is away by Ormarkson, I think. No, it couldn't have been Ormarkson. Somebody in there cleared it away. Ormarkson now to Boutenson. He's got Medina with him. He's got Jofferson getting forward. Pass is there for Jofferson. Where's Medina at the back post? Completely unmarked. Can we get the ball in? It's too late, and it's Ormarkson, and it's just not a good shot. We don't really have wide players options. I wouldn't mind taking Jofferson off. Not playing great on a booking. But everybody's sort of, it's all central players that we have right now. Mortensen. The one thing I really do like about the gags and sort of the self-imposed rule is that it sort of give you selection headaches that don't really exist otherwise in, when I'm playing in the league. You do kind of have to crowbar players in, and like Gisarasten at centre back, Mortensen at left back, and so on. There's a cracking ball. Surely this is it. Boutenson round the goalkeeper. Ormarkson and Boutenson combine again. How many times have we seen that for the gags? And finally, in the 64th minute, we have broken down Fram and we've taken the lead. Here we go. Really, a good pass from Turpinson to find Ormarkson in space. Just in that little bit of pocket, wasn't it, between the midfield and defence? And then Ormarkson found Boutenson's run. And Boutenson's, he's too good to miss too many, isn't he? And now we've got defending to do. Jofferson gets a block on the cross. Oh, Arneson's given away a penalty. And I'm not completely sure. That looked a little harsh to me. We've got Freya Jensen against his former team. Straight down the middle. I'm sure we had him at one point. It'll probably tell us if it's... We had someone by that name anyway. Rafferson's jumped out of the way of it. And is this going to be one of those days? Let's try a focus. Still some time to play. It's only the 72nd minute. So, lots of time. And it's those same two again. And Boutenson puts it away. His 15th of the season. Ormarkson with another assist. And those two are just domestic gods, really, aren't they? They're just far, far too good for anybody the Gags play. I'm looking at Medina not playing well. We've got that young Arneson on the bench, so we'll bring him on. What we could do, we do have Bodvartsen, who apparently can play left back, but he's right-footed. But Mortensen is just destroyed, so we might take him off. We don't have another centre-back option, which is why Gisarasen's playing in the first place. Is that Ormarkson to Boutenson again? Boutenson this time with a heavy touch. And they get it forward quickly. Unnison is there. I was trying to figure out who it was that was playing centre-back. Because Mortensen, for the most part, was playing at left-back last season for the Gags. As what is Boutenson doing there? It was Olofsson, who we signed, of course, and then we sold on to Rosenberg, I think it was. So he was playing centre-back for the Gags last year. Here we go with Jofferson for Boutenson. Is he's onside? The linesman has his flag up, I think. He does. So it is still only 2-1, and it was, yeah, he's a mile off again. Just not quite on the same wavelength. Turpinson now over a free kick. Decent one. Flick on. Oh, it's beaten everybody, and somehow Ormarkson has scored. Well, what has happened there? It's a flick on. The goalkeeper, I don't know what he's done. Is he unsighted? Either way, it's 3-1. Ormarkson has a well-deserved goal, having set up the other two. And, yeah, this should be relatively comfortable from here, you would hope. Bodvartsen getting forward. Does he have a left foot? Not a bad one. Oh, and Ormarkson with a cracking volley, and somehow the goalkeeper's kept that out. And that's not the first decent save this guy's made, is it? He's made quite a few today, and of course he had the Ormarkson goal, which maybe counts against him. But he made up for that with that save, didn't he? Because not many goalkeepers would be saving that. Certainly at this level, anyway. Turpinson now with some space in midfield. We definitely look better having pushed Ormarkson forward, haven't we? He's just got so much more space there to roam, and he's doing a really good job. Arneson now. Good ball for Jofferson, who puts it past the post. And, yeah, we are just ticking it down. And this was a dangerous game for us. International break. Oh, Turpinson. Oh, well, maybe this goalkeeper is not doing particularly well all of a sudden. What a frustrating game for him. He's made some really good saves, but then 2 of the 4 goals he's let in have been ones that I'd back myself to save, I think. That's not a difficult save. And Snyder is looking quite tired, but there's not much we can do about that. As the game ticks down, the Gags do it again. That was not as comfortable as the scoreline looks, was it? But Olmarkson plays a 10, and what a performance from him, as he continues to just prove why he's one of the best Gags there have been. So there we go, Jensen, it was his former club, he was someone that we used to have. So it was Olmarkson, it was Turpinson, and it was Boutenson. Probably the 3, certainly stalwarts of the Gags, if not the best 3 that they've been. Olafsson, that's the Icelandic boss, was looking at a few. So Rafferson, Gissarasen, Unnason, Mortensen, Turpinson, Olmarkson. So is that just all the Icelandic players that were playing? He's pretty much just named our starting 11 there, hasn't he? So that's probably what he was looking at. Anyway, guys, that will do it for today. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. We'll be back next time. We've got the quarter-final, and then we might just need to show another game here before we get to European football. It's going to be Ludogorets or Riga in the second qualifying round, our first round. So that's what we'll be aiming towards. But we'll come back for the quarterfinal. We'll know who that is. I'll put that up on the Discord like I usually do. And then it'll be probably FH. We might do the league game second. And away to FH is never an easy game. They're a tough side to beat. So yeah, we'll do that next time. Until then, guys, take care.